one.
Hello, everybody. This is Arwen Lewis, and you're listening to The Arwen Lewis Show. You just heard my song, Black Moon, from my EP, Under the Stars, and we took you out to break with Walk the Whale's new single, Another Day. And I've got Walk the Whale and Andras Jones on the show today. We're talking music, philosophy, and we're all doing a show together at Lost Chord Guitars on February 24th. And so Andras just gave us a really good story just about his philosophy behind his recent project and the artistic process. And I feel that Walk the Whale, you guys just have a lot in common with Andras, having spent some time with you and listening to your music and getting to know your philosophies behind creation. So yeah, why don't we first talk a little bit about your two new singles, Another Day, and also The Storm, that you just released after this incredible self-titled EP. I thought you could tell us about those two singles first, and then let's talk about, your philosophy and artistic process.
Oh, well, I appreciate it. Yeah. So the two new singles are a different Walk the Whale hat. We kind of have a couple of them, and we're flitting between them. The EP Let Me Land is much more like this indie rock sort of spectrum of things, and this latest single is much more towards our sort of a folksier route.
It's our straw hat.
Yeah, it's our straw hat.
It's our,
yes.
it's our cheapest hat.
Right. The Levy Land was like our beanie. And now we got like the straw hat that's kind of hanging on one side. That's these two new songs. Very acoustic, unplugged. Let Me Land was a labor of love, but a production nightmare.
Yeah.
And so maybe the next two songs we do have just piano and guitar, or just piano and cello and our voices. And let's see what we can do with that. Because I mean, I love throwing the B3 organ or the Hammond onto everything and put a Mellotron in it and crank the reverb. But every once in a while you need to de-escalate, maybe even detoxify your sound just to get closer to those roots. And that's really what I felt we achieved with this latest single. Like our acoustic sound as you'll hear it live, about some, our typical brand of mystical, optimistic melancholia.
That sounded very nice the way you just pronounced that. The enunciation, it was something else.
Oh, well, thank you, darling.
So The Storm and Another Day, who wrote both of those songs? Are they co-writes or?
No, they're both his.
Lyrically, yeah. I wrote the lyrics for both of them.
Okay.
Chord structure, chord structure was also me, but not the instrumentation or the sort of arrangement of everything. That's always a collaborative process. Like it's kind of hard to cut those lines in the sand between like who did what, who finished what. Because by the time it gets to the production process, I mean, Parker's riffs that you'll hear on The Storm, especially, I would have never thought of. That's not I don't guitar. So it really is a union of the two. But yeah, lyrics and chord structures are mine, but arrangement and tempo and production, that's very much a collaborative experience there.
None of my songs are stripped down and cheap.
This boy puts the Mellotron on everything.
Yeah.
There's
Tell us about like your passion for the Mellotron, and what is a Mellotron?
I feel like the passion was overstated. The Mellotron is like
now the truth will set you free.
It's a string loop sampler in essence. So it's really just synth strings with extra steps.
Right.
But it has a very apocalyptic sort of future meets past atom smashing that I really like. And I like that you can mess with the sound, and its increased unnaturalness will only make it more haunting.
Mm-hmm. I mean, going back to the bio too, that's the fullness in King Crimson's Court of the Crimson King. That big swell in the chorus is pretty exclusively the Mellotron making that happen. So nice. I find oftentimes it just takes us back to our, Floyd, King Crimson, sort of more older school classic rock kind of sound. Big fan.
And I really liked too. it just like when I heard both of these tracks, it was like, oh, that reminds me of like being at Lost Chord listening to Walk the Wild.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Right.
So when I heard your EP too, I was like, oh my God, this is awesome. I can see this on a huge festival stage with lights and shows. Like, so it's cool how you can like present both, both presentations of your music with the same song. And Andras, how about you? Like, do you feel like you kind of explore different, I guess, yeah, like different vibes and different production styles with your music, or do you like to kind of keep it in one realm?
Well, that's the whole thing with the idea of working on one song at a time. It allows each song to really allows the production to meet the song where the song is. So they're all different. But I also feel like when I go into a studio working this way, I was filling things out. My last record that I did, a record called All You Get, was probably I wouldn't even call you guys straw hat. I think that's the wrong word.
Oh man.
Naked.
Naked.
Yeah, let it be naked.
Yeah.
Straw hat sounds like you're on Hee Haw or something.
Oh, that's
Okay,
a
all
good
right.
point. Yeah, there's no steel strings.
Get the bands on, and we're gonna make sure we've read the song good.
Yeah.
Fuck a raccoon. Yeah.
Like
But
skinny
really-
dipping in the ocean.
There we
Naked
go.
and authentic and intimate. I feel like that's what I hear from I was listening to your EP right before we jumped on. Yeah, but for me, I with the music, I try and hit it pretty hard. I come from a rock and roll background. My ground zero. When people ask me what kind of music I do, I have no idea what to say. So I say Elvis Costello because he makes every kind of music,
Yeah.
but it always sounds like him. But for me, it was with this record, I really wanted, especially in the age of AI, I wanted to keep flaws. Like
Mhm.
I record everything
Wow.
dry, so it
Mhm.
sounds good. Like once it's mixed, we put some stuff on it, but I am always trying to like less reverb, no auto tune, keep that odd thing that happens so that you know that it's a human singing to you. And I'm hoping that in a time where there's so much, there's so much fixing and perfecting that goes on, that reaches people and creates a more of a. That's my nakedness on the record is, the production might be really strong, but there's a flawed human at the center of it, trying to tell his story and singing it, in a way that, like, I don't want to sing poorly, but I do want to allow people to hear the humanity in it, which sometimes, I mean, I definitely hear it in your music, but there's a lot of music that I hear where I just think, wow, that's perfect, but it's like Teflon. It doesn't stick to my brain at all.
Exactly.
Well, yeah, and I mean, I find I don't know about you all. I'm sure you feel the same way when I watch somebody live or listen to something that sounds like you're in the room with the musicians. You feel more connected, and like it's creating a sense like of community that you're talking about, Andres, and what you guys create, Walk the Whale. Like just this, it breaks the barrier of loneliness. And I think as performers, it's a responsibility for a performer to kind of do that, and create the sense of community and like people can relate to you, and you aren't pushing them away with your untouchable perfection, but rather inviting them in with like warmth and humanity.
Well said.
Thank
Can
you.
I ask you all a question? Because I've noticed something about myself, that I was not a performer for a long time. I was doing Radio 8 Ball, which will put me in the place of being what you're doing, Arwen, holding space for other artists, even though you're an artist as well, but holding space for other artists and creating a venue for them to express themselves. And when I was doing that, so much of my musical judgment went away. I was just very open. I didn't even have to like someone's music to have them on the show. And by the end of the show, I would love their music. But now that I'm back performing, there is a part of me that has become, there's this very judgmental aspect of myself when I'm at a show. Like if the performer isn't delivering something that feels real to me, I don't want to say that I get angry, but it's almost like internally I'm fighting being angry that they are there and not someone. And I don't even like this about myself. When I was younger, I would think I was right or I was justified in it. But I'm curious, do you feel that when you see because you're performers, do you get that feeling when you go to a show and you're like, why am I watching you? Give me something. Give me something.
Yes.
Yeah, maybe that's a little bit escalatory on my side, but yeah.
You're like, all right, drop the
Yes.
mic.
Yeah, right.
Right.
Like, oh, totally. Totally.
I will say that it remains, but it was worse when I wasn't doing anything with music because of the internal, like, that should be me, but like never actually wanting to do it. And now it's like, I feel like it comes more from a perspective of like, here I am busting my ass, you know, like trying to work hard and be heartfelt at the same time and relatable and play the instrument and sing in tune and like perpetuate our brand, like all at the same time, you know, just in your spare time, you know. And it's like when you see someone else who's up there, like, and you perceive it being half-assed, yeah, you have like your work ethic to kind of like rubs you the wrong way. But you know, let's de-escalate. I don't want to.
Yeah, no, I am not my conscious choice is to love and support anyone who is doing this. But my animal self, when I'm at a show, someone isn't doing the bare minimum, and I don't mean you could be singing out of tune, you could be, but like really being grounded and delivering something that is specific and truthful from your own being. Oh boy, I'm trying to figure out how to do it. I'm trying to figure out how to get back to feeling like I did as the host of Radio 8 Ball, really loving and open to every artist and not have this animal inside of me. It's like, get off the stage, let me get on there, let me put someone else up there because you are wasting my time. I hate that. Anyway, I'm glad I'm not the only one who feels that way.
Well, yeah, I mean, sorry.
What do you think, Arwen?
Well, I think that like it's like that comes down to you not being able to connect, you know, and like what do we go to shows for? We go to connect with the artist and have a catharsis and feel understood. So on that note, Jeremiah says break when we can. We have the man behind the curtain.
I'm breaking as fast as I can, Jeremiah.
Oh no. It's my responsibility to figure that out.
You know what though? If it's a good conversation, if you want to keep it going, we'll just keep it going. We'll make it work, man.
No one wants to hear this ugly side of the performer's eternal life.
We love everybody though.
We love everyone.
Yeah, just
all the time.
Full disclosure, we are all love.
Yeah.
All love. All the way down.
And anger. Anger is part of love. Let's be
well, I guess part of love is forgiving yourself for the ways that you fall short of who you'd like to be. So
yes.
That's well said.
Loving ourselves anyways and our fellow peers on this planet Earth. That makes no sense and sense at the same time. But
that's don't sell yourself short.
I'm gonna jump in on Arwen Lewis show. Sorry, this is Jeremiah.
This is fun.
You know what? Whether he was Andras was just honest, and with everything else in the world that you've mentioned so far in this interview that's going on, honesty is in small commodity right now. So whether it's a popular opinion or not, that you're all honest here on the show together is good listening to me. Feels good, you know.
Yeah,
that's all.
I agree. Yeah.
Me too.
Jeremiah just demonstrated recognizing, de-escalating, and decoding. Thank you, Jeremiah.
He's got it. We got it.
Give him a sticker.
Is there a plaque or anything? Do I get
We got the superlative right here. No.
I gave you one of my records and you gave it away to a pretty girl.
That's what I do. Arwen, it's your show. Back to you.
Thank you, man behind the curtain, Jeremiah. Okay, well, I want to keep talking, but let's let everybody hear Olympia's Secret. This is really exciting. This is Andras Jones's song that's going to be coming out on February 23rd, the day before our show at Lost Chord Guitars.
Good timing.
We're going to hear an excerpt of that and then bring you back in with another excerpt from an unreleased song from recognized De-escalate De-code called Magnet for Trouble. Everybody, this is Arwen Lewis. I'm here with Walk the Whale and Andras Jones. We'll be sharing a bill at Lost Chord Guitar on Saturday, February 24th at 8 p.m. Tickets are at lostchordguitars.com. Enjoy this music and come see us, and we'll be right back.